How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Forever Arsenal podcast. Hope you're all good. Hope you're all well. Hit the like button first and foremost. Let's get the likes up on the video. 1,000. Make sure you're subscribed. Put the notification bell on. All of that good stuff, people. Individual channels, you know what it is already. Show some love all around. And I'm back with the gang, the Forever gang in the building. As always, James, Lee, and Jordan. I like to ask how we're feeling usually at the start of the show, but off the back of that 0-0 at home to Everton, I know how most of us have been feeling since that result, let alone the four of us on the screen. But we move, and before we get into the nitty-gritty conversation on the football, I'm gonna just pass it over to my good friend Judges.
Yeah, obviously, first of all, I just want to say, look, I said something on my interview yesterday that I shouldn't have said. It was a tongue-in-cheek comment, but obviously it was inappropriate, and it just wasn't the right thing to do. And listen, I do want to say that AFTV have been getting a lot of stick for it. It's got nothing to do with AFTV. It was down to me. I said it. No one else. Done anything. It was just down on me. As I said, it was an error of judgment. I apologise to anybody that I've offended. It wasn't meant to be like that. And listen, I've made a mistake. And I hold my hands up to it and say, look, I'm sorry, and hopefully I can be forgiven for it, and we can move on. But I understand everybody. What they're all saying is obviously a clip. They just see the clip. They don't see the actual full video, and they just see the clip, and they don't see me afterwards defending Mikel and whatever. And I just want to say, look, doesn't matter about that. I shouldn't have said it, and I have, and I can't take it back, guys. But I can apologise for it, and hopefully, that'll be the end of it. And if not, listen, I have to deal with it. It's something that I'll have to hold, because I did say it, and thanks for the people that supported me on it and everything like that. But ultimately, I've got to hold it. It's down to me, and I do apologise.
Come on, man. You made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. There's not one single human in this world that hasn't made a mistake, and you've held your hands up for it. And listen, I know Lee Judges personally, and he's a good man, people. Wholehearted. He didn't have to have that beginning segment. He wanted that beginning segment, and hopefully the slate can be cleared, and we move, and we're going to move straight into the football conversation, because there's quite a bit to talk about. Primarily with the result that's just gone. Forget the match coming up in the Carabao Cup, which has probably gained significantly more importance now, considering our league form recently has left us, well, hoping and praying for a miracle at this point. Looking up at the table at Liverpool and Chelsea now, 4 points clear of us after their win today at home to Brentford. We move into, usually we start with Leeds because he's at the game. I was actually at the game this time as well, my first game of the season, and we kept the clean sheet and we didn't score a goal. Great first game to go to. We usually start with the atmosphere, and you mentioned the whole saying of the first name and then the fans saying the surname. You mentioned that on the last pod.
Did you? Drop it. Get rid.
It didn't work. It just didn't work. And then the North London Forever into kickoff, that didn't work. I know people are saying it worked against United, maybe because the emotions are higher. It's a rivalry, but
they almost missed it. They almost missed it against United. The kickoff was the kick. They started singing it, or they started the song like about a second before kickoff. So it kind of bled into the start of the game, which is not ideal, because you want people then on the first touch. It was awkward. It was a bit awkward.
My first game of the season, usually for years on end, imagine years on end, 20 plus years of going football, kickoff, it's a loud cheer. It's like, let's go. This was the first time it kicked off, and it was still kind of going into the chorus of North London Forever. Thinking, hey, what's going on here? Like, it's a bit like an opera house a little, but yeah.
I don't like what they've done with those announcements and all that. It's not great. I've seen it twice for. Actually, I started late for Monaco, but I saw it for Man United. Yeah, it just. Not for me. It's just so awkward. I find it. It's not. I don't know. Maybe
the thing is, just last point for me on this one. It's not actually needed because we often start singing the song after a goal anyway. Like I get it if the idea was right when we score a goal, the fans need a prompt to kind of cheer it, but we will start singing Bukayo Saka's song. We will start singing Kai Havertz's. We do it anyway, so it just doesn't really need. It doesn't need a prompt or a cue. It's it's not great. It's not great.
I didn't hear one waka waka. I didn't hear Mikel Arteta. I didn't hear many chants yesterday, but it's my first game in a while, so I was the last game.
The atmosphere was poor yesterday.
Yeah,
it was really poor. But that's for me that was down on the performance. Sometimes you need the crowd to lift the crowd to lift you, and then there's other times you need the team to lift you, and that was one of those games when you needed the team to lift you, and it just didn't happen.
I think people need to appreciate the power of a naturally built atmosphere and energy. Now, sometimes an evening game, Bayern Munich quarterfinals of the Champions League, you throw on a little light show with some fireworks. Cool, I get it. Like that sometimes you spice up the occasion. But I don't know. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of the performance, but all the kind of now with the announcement stuff and. I remember 20 minutes into a game last season, I can't remember, it might have been Erdegaard, whoever, sort of telling the crowd to get up. It's just like, oh my word.
Bro,
it all feels a bit artificial, doesn't it?
Odegaard, Arteta, Raya, they was all at it yesterday. And I'm looking at them like, you have to understand that, okay, we beat Monaco midweek, but a lot of us felt that Monaco game was not a dead rubber because we still got work to do in the Champions League, but it was kind of like, let's get this one out of the way. We've just dropped points to Fulham. We need to get back on track. Now you've given us this in the first 20, 25, 30, 35. We're all wondering, and the crowd are probably wondering, hold on, it's on you lot to give us some excitement to latch onto, to believe these crosses into the box. There's only so much cheering you can do for winning a corner or getting a free kick in a dangerous position. Like, it's on them. I'm sorry. You don't be waving your hands at us. Don't be doing that. A lot of people are paying hard-earned money to be there. And listen, there's love, there's support. But like Lee said, sometimes the crowd lifts the team. And more often than not, it's the team that needs to lift the crowd. And results, performances do that over time, as well as how you start games and maneuver through them. Yeah, but atmosphere aside, everything like that aside, let's talk about on the pitch, because on the pitch, where do you begin with a 0-0 like that? James, it's not often I don't speak to you straight after a game, but let's talk. How did you feel about it all?
Yeah, I thought I'd come in actually quickly on this because there's not really much to say on the game because so little happened. I think one thing that I think is a slight shame is that, look, I don't think Mikel Merino played particularly well. I don't think there were many great performances. Obviously, we drew 0-0 at home to Everton. But I actually think the 11 he went with, I was quite encouraged with. It was the 11 I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that first half is basically, and look, what does it matter? But I think that first half's in danger of being kind of watered down with the second half. I thought the first half we did all right. We should have scored 2 or 3. We carved them open once or twice. Listen, I'm not saying it was great or vintage Arsenal, don't get me wrong. But Everton were always going to be stubborn. They're always going to be organised. They're always going to be physical. And actually, I thought we were value for a goal lead by half-time at least. Erdegaard had to score that chance. He had to. The one where he's right in front of goal. There's a few other openings for him I think he could have done better with. Martinelli had a decent effort saved. Look, again, I'm not saying it was vintage. But I think that is the 11 and the way moving forwards. And I think Arteta basically might have seen it for 45 minutes and already kind of thrown it away, which is a shame because I actually don't think it was that bad. I think where things really went bad, I think Arteta bottled it, guys. And I rarely say this. I think his head went. Those subs for me. Now, the Rice one we know is now slightly injury pressed, so fine. But I think the team we ended up with, Partey at right back for no reason at all. Jorginho alone in midfield, a 17-year-old without actually any help or physicality around him. Timber back at left back. So everyone now was facing on the inside. So we had no way of opening and stretching Everton out wide. Everything was just arse of Saka. Jesus came on and did nothing. Havertz did nothing all game, and the two of them went to be up front doing nothing. I think the way Arteta ended the game, the subs he made to try impact it, was by far the more concerning thing of the game. More so than the starting 11 actually how he performed that first half. I think we'd have had a better chance of winning that game if he stuck with it another 10 minutes. Erdegaard was really poor on the day, but actually it was the 5 minutes before he came off, he started to find Saka, find rhythm, took him off. So the Arteta's reading of the game, in my opinion, was shocking. I think that was the main reason we didn't win it.
Yeah.
Season, you could say similar though. I think as soon as you said that about Arteta, was it bottling it or whatever you said, I thought about the Bournemouth. Now that's a different circumstance, but straight down to 10 men, and within 2 minutes, you've taken off your best attacker, put a defender on. You've literally set the tone 3 minutes before half time. I just felt like, it's not the first time this season he's made weird substitutions. It also leans into my argument and a lot of people's argument that that myth that the numbers are down but the quality's up in the squad.
I said that and I'm wrong. I'll hold my hands up. It's not. Yeah, I mean that was my theory. But
he's stuck in it. He's stuck in attacking midfield. Sorry, Lee, you was going to jump in there though.
No, do you know what? I've been thinking about this, and I am frustrated, fuming about the team and all that. And the analogy that I've come up with is this: why people criticise an Arsenal, mate. Now, put yourself in if you're playing 5-a-side, 6-a-side, 11-a-side with one of your mates, right? And he's not good enough. He's not a good player, right? And he does something on the ball and he kicks it off and all that. You don't have a go at him, do you? You go, oh, unlucky, it's like not good and all that. But then you get someone that's a good player, right? And he does something that he shouldn't do and all that. You have a go at him because he's a good player. And you sort of go, look, come on, give us the ball. You're better than that or whatever. But because you expect more. And this is where I am with this team now. What I'm expecting, I'm expecting a lot better than what I'm seeing. And I'm expecting a lot better from the manager than what I'm seeing in these last few games. And I lost my head yesterday and frustrated and whatever. Not because just of yesterday. This has been going. I've seen this games at unbelievable, isn't he? I've seen these games at
every show.
I don't know, like, I mean, perhaps he needs to sit in a studio or something. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? I really do.
Whoa.
Shut up. I want to hear your point, Lee. You're making a really good point there. Go on, carry on.
What I'm saying is, so what I'm expecting more from the manager. I'm expecting more from this team. And it wasn't just a game against Everton. I've seen this last week at Fulham. I've seen this at Bournemouth. I've seen it at Newcastle. And somebody said to me, can you still win the league? And I'm going, we can still win the league. We're still enough points on the table. It's December. But the way we're playing and the way we're going about it, you can tell it's not going to happen. I didn't even know. Do you know what I mean? I'll be really honest. I know that Liverpool got somebody sent off, right? And they was losing 1-0 at one stage. I didn't know it was in the 17th minute, by the way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I would have been like if I'd have known what it was. But Liverpool come out and done for it. I don't think that we would have got a draw against a team like that. We would have. And
remember our excuses
yesterday. The substitution yesterday, when people turn I'm in the pub yesterday and people are turning around and going, he's got a goalie. And I'm going, hold on a minute. It ain't that he's got to go. But I can see why they're criticising him. Everton showed no ambition to score a goal yesterday, right? No ambition. They had Calvin Lewis up front, and then there was a 15. I've never seen it before. Then there was a 15-yard gap to the next. And when it went up to him, no one supported him. They just let him get on with it, like, you know what I mean? They was happy to do what they were doing. And what I see yesterday was like for like substitutions, like for like. Why aren't you putting? There were times when Arsene Wenger was in charge, and we'd have 5 forwards on at the end of a game. And you know what I mean? I'm not saying you win it every time, but there was something. There was just nothing different there. And then for him to come out and say at the end of the game, why'd you take Declan Rice off? Well, he's had a niggle for the last week. And, you've got Thomas Partey on there. You've got Jorginho on there. And you're playing a half-fit player. What are you doing? What are you doing? You've got to be better than this. if we're going to win the league, you as a manager have to do better with your decision making and everything that you do. If you want to be top 4, then okay, because that's what I see yesterday, top 4. So, but if you want to get over the line and win it, he has got to back up. The team's got to back up. It's got to take its chances as well, and prove everybody that we are capable of doing this. But we are a bloody good footballing team. I don't care what anybody says. But where is all the football of 2 years ago? Where is it gone? I didn't see us looking like opening up an Everton team that, by the way, got smashed by Man United, smashed by Spurs. You know what I mean? Like. And if I'll be really honest, Pickford made 2 good saves in that game, guys. 2 good saves at home. It ain't good enough. And people can turn around, people are frustrated because they're spending a lot of money to go and watch that. I'm bored of it, boys. I'm bored of what I'm seeing. I'm seeing one half of football, which is like as slow as anything, walking pace football. And then in the second half, I see cluelessness. I see absolute. They were clueless.
Yeah, that's the word. We look clueless. Totally
frightening.
Clueless.
Yeah. Absolutely frightening. And you get people going, "Oh, what? You're a manager now and all that." No, I'm not a manager, but I've seen a lot of football, and I know when I see a team that's inventive and can break teams down. And listen, last season we played West Ham at home and lost 2-0. We had 32 shots on goal. Right. Mm-hmm. They happen. Those sort of games happen, guys. But this is a team that's Everton with no ambition to attack, and with 3-4 shots as their goalkeeper had, if that, not acceptable.
Well, too stiff. Like it's over I forgot when it was. I think maybe over a month ago now. I remember when we spoke about the profile change in Arteta's transfer, targets and signings over the years, and he's gone for more power and strength. But when you look overall, okay, that power and strength is there. There's very little athleticism. There's very little athleticism amongst that power, the power and size of our team. And when you're trying to break a team down, you need creativity or powerful runners. And listen, Rice is a powerful runner, but he's a powerful runner from box to box. He isn't the final third guy. He isn't that, he's going to get into the box at the crucial times to nick onto the end of things and get you maybe 10 goals. He ain't that guy. Aside from that, we have Saka, Saka aside, I'm not talking about Saka. He's doing what he should be doing and more. But we don't have the options there. He's completely gone down a route. And I'm sorry to say it, he got the big pieces wrong. He got us to a certain stage and then he got the big pieces wrong. Declan Rice is quality, and if I go back there, I'd sign him again. Yeah, the market is the market. 100 mil at that time was going left, right, and centre on midfielders. I get it. Yeah, you ask me, is he worth it? I don't think any CM is worth 100 mil. If I'm honest with you, I come from an era where Cristiano Ronaldo went for 90, Bale 90ish, Neymar 90ish. Attackers that win you games. Now we're in an era where DMs go for 100 or CM. Never will that be worth it for me. But cool, Rice steps in, does better than expected last year. Now people are trying to, slander him because he doesn't do the things he was never doing. I didn't expect Rice to be the final third player, in my honest opinion. But Havertz, he bought Havertz as a midfielder, put him up top. We've changed the way we play, and I can't lie to you. I'm not saying it's his fault. It's Arteta's fault. But spending 65 M's on him, giving him the money he's been given, and it not working in the primary position. I'll quote Mikel, in the first 2 weeks of signing Havertz, he's a midfielder. But I credit Arteta for changing him into a striker and him providing more. But then you leave it at that in the summer. Maybe you leave it at that because Kroenke did say, hold on, last summer was your final 2 big pieces, mate. We've got a bit of cash here for you, but your final 2 big pieces after a year here, we expect them to go and win it now. Maybe that is the rhetoric from Kroenke, and I can't even knock them for that if that is the final 2 pieces. But our host Martinelli at cost because of some of the revamping of that left-hand side. Some of the signings he's made to Zinchenko's first season and Jesus' first season, the first 6 months of both, we haven't been able to find that perfect. Well, end of last season we did, but it was more controlling. But in terms of our attack, we haven't found the balance since then. Jesus and Martinelli worked so well together. We actually had a threat on that side. Saka was Saka as always, and Odegaard was doing his thing. Since that injury to Jesus, Martinelli started falling off to the point we're at now. We buy a tall, lanky striker midfielder. We put him up front. He's winning duels and stuff. It's just not working. And I'm not putting it all on him now. But what I'm saying, as a club, we've gone from resetting the wage bill with Ozil 350 to giving 530 to Jesus and Havertz. That's crazy to me. And that needs to be addressed immediately if he wants to continue in his role as Arsenal manager moving forward.
Jerkish, I have to go. I'm a big fan of Kai Havertz, as you know, but he never looked like scoring yesterday. The one thing he done was with a lovely little flick through for Saka.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Should have. But that's not what I get. What you're saying. That you're saying that's not what he should be doing. He should be on the end of things. He didn't look a threat yesterday from a goal. I'm not looking at him and going, do you know what? He's going to score in a minute, or. You better keep him tied down because he's going to get something in a moment. I didn't see that with him yesterday, And if I'll be really honest, boys, I don't know if you felt this, but it was like, I'll get it to Saka and let's hope that something happens.
Martinelli, we've both loved Martinelli, but Ashley Young.
Oh, he had him on toast.
You didn't. Come on, Martin. Nah, that guy needs to be dropped now. Not rested, not dropped. Because it's unacceptable. What? Just because his name's Martinelli and he's Brazilian, that we're letting this continue now. Do
you think there was a call for that yesterday? Because my mate called this out yesterday when we was going home. Could have Arteta put Saka out there on him?
On Ashley?
Yeah, and gone down that route. Is that he's a right winger and that's the way you go?
Someone said this, and to be honest, it's evident. Odegaard hardly passes to Martinelli on that side. We literally don't build attacks on that side. So even I think if Saka went over there, I don't know if can this team start structuring attacks from the left? I'm not too sure. That Lewis Skelly, listen, that pass the other day against Monaco. That's what we missed from Granit Xhaka days. A little threat there where a slide through ball Martinelli can come onto the end of it. We had something there.
He played too safe yesterday. Too safe. Everything was safe with him. Just didn't do nothing, did he?
Who?
Miles Skelly just played safe. Played in a little pocket and just played safe.
I don't think he played it safe. I think there was such a lack of movement and options around him. He's a very the few appearances we've seen from him. Yeah, from the few appearances.
But do you know what's funny on
bags of personality on the ball? And
I love him. Don't get me wrong. It's just I didn't see he didn't go past the player. He didn't do. I like it. I don't know if it was down to the tactics or him and all that. I just felt he got the ball. He got it. Played a decent pass, played a pass here, played a pass there. They weren't the only one. I'm just saying, what I mean?
I thought that was the tone of the whole team, to be honest. I think an inventive ball through the lines, it lifts everyone. I don't know. It's infectious when you get that pass right, when someone completes a dribble pass something on. And I just think, the whole team was totally lackluster.
Didn't you find that? Remember we talked about how important Timber is or was to the 3-game patch we had, scoring hell a lot of goals on that, right? He relied more on Skelly inverting than allowing Timber to go into the attack. And so even though Timber played right back, we didn't get the triangles or the Timber in the box, create the pockets. We didn't get that because Lewis Skelly was inverting. And I think he done, again, what do I expect from him? I expect, a certain level playing for Arsenal Football Club, but I think he done okay. I think he was far from the problem. I think he's one of the ones that comes out with no criticism. Saka tried hard. Like Saka didn't find much success. But there was that video, and that happened multiple times with him taking on 1, 2, 3, 4, and Odegaard slowing down and not keeping up pace. And even just Odegaard, there's not enough. There's like 5 Everton players. Where is everyone? What's this handbrake on? Like, where is everyone? And Saka even just fouled once, turns in, beats 2 more, man, fouled again, beats another man, loses the ball, and we're on the defensive. There's just something wrong. I think he should have brought Nwaneri on to supplement Odegaard. make it 2 8s, 2 10s. He done that with Smith Rowe once upon a time. It didn't work then, but it made me think, okay, that's something that you're going to move into eventually or be able to move into. Perfect time to do it was yesterday. Perfect time. Nanieri with Odegaard. We were not facing much threat. You mentioned Calvert-Lewin alone up there and can't do anything. Saliba, absolute boss. And I worry about players like that if we don't continue to progress. And to be honest with you, well, what we got 22 games left, right? Or 22. We played 16. That's 66 points up for grabs. And we've got what, 33? No, we've got 30. So we got 96 points is the max. We ain't even getting last year's points tally. All the year before that. I think this is Arteta's worst points tally since his first season at the club, or maybe first full season in terms of 16 games in. Someone even mentioned Wenger's last year.
This can't be his worst. Really.
I don't think it's worse.
It's got to be his worst in the title races in the last 3 seasons since we've been a title contending team.
Well, even the top. What do you think's gone wrong though?
Yeah, it's got to be better than the top 4 one. I'm sure of it.
I think
we didn't. The top 4 race. We lost 3 of our first. We lost our first 3 games.
Yeah,
we did.
But where's it all gone wrong? What has happened to us this moment?
Well, I was going to bring in Jordan because it's 27 minutes in and I haven't heard him.
Fantastic, isn't it? Like,
listen, I've been.
The comment section have loved this show.
I know.
They have absolutely enjoyed.
They're turning off now.
Go make a couple of people now. Your chance.
I'm just listening to you lot.
I'm back in 6 minutes.
I've interrupted enough for you guys, so I'm trying to listen. And I mean, so I think we should go back to Arteta because I think this one was on him. James, you used the phrase, you think he bottled it on the weekend. I don't disagree. I would use the phrase, he lost control. I think he lost control. I genuinely don't know what he was trying to do. I think he panicked. He panicked. And what's ironic as well is that, what's the thing that most people say about Arteta's subs? What's the thing that most people generally accuse him of when it comes to subs?
Too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
This one, I think he went too early.
Yeah.
I think he panicked too early. And then the personnel, when they came on, I didn't know who was meant to be where. I didn't know the shape, the formation. I just think he panicked. He really, really panicked. And I don't think he needed to. So I think this one, I'm going to put on him. I think it was really poor management. Let's get to the flirter now on the left, who you guys mentioned earlier on, because I really feel sorry for Saka. I really feel for Saka because, as has been mentioned, he's just been asked to not only do everything, but do it, beating 4 players. He's having to cut in. But before he knows it, he's on the left-hand side. There's so many defenders that are kind of shielding him away from goal. I just feel so sorry for him because he must be thinking to himself, guys, any chance? Any chance?
Yeah, I agree.
Boys, what on that side of the pitch, what are you doing? And, Turkish mentioned earlier on, or somebody mentioned, should we have, the idea of putting Saka on the left? No, the guy on the left, do your job. Do your job. You want to move our best player from where he's effective to compensate for someone against a 44-year-old Ashley Young. Really? The thing that annoys me the most about the flirter is that 9 times out of 10, he's the fastest player on any pitch he steps onto. When did you last see him go past someone with raw pace? When?
Dribbling, just carrying the ball past someone. I know what you mean.
James, forget even carrying the ball. Kick and run. You're faster than everybody. It's so. I'm so done with him now because this is not now. Oh, he's injured and he's not. This is not. Oh, it's a poor run of form. We have to really revisit how good this guy is. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he needs coaching. But at what point does I'm kind of done with him? But then equally, Trossard from the start, I think is even worse. So you might as well throw in Sterling now because at least it's the unknown. I'm so disappointed with how he's progressed on that side. It's so. He's got all the tools. But he just does nothing. Touch, pass it back. Touch, run it out. Touch, win a corner maybe.
Running back to his goal, he done more than running to their goal.
It's like, what are you doing? It's so bad. So that's my thoughts on him. I saw a clip with you, James, talking on the watch along with Guna Lee, right?
No.
About Ranieri. And I thought it was an interesting exchange that you were both having. For what it's worth, I actually side with Gunnar Lee. So for those who don't know, you were disagreeing on. I think Gunnar Lee was saying that Ranieri should have been, held accountable for his lack of
impact on the game.
Impact on the game. That's what I'm looking for, right? And you were defending him, saying, "Look, he's a 17-year-old kid. Like lay off him a little bit." I think Lee went a little bit further than I would have gone. I wouldn't have singled him out, but the general premise that we can't, and forgive me if it's not if I'm misrepresenting your point here, but what I took from it was that a 17-year-old kid, he shouldn't be the ire of any kind of criticism for his performance. I disagree with that because we can't have it both ways. We can't praise these kids when they come through for being into the first team and highlight, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids, and that be the key figure of why we're praising that person breaking into the first team. But then when they're poor, or not poor, when they're ineffective, we want to hide them from criticism because they're 17 years old. I thought when he came on, he did nothing. I don't think he was the worst player. I don't think he wanted singling out, which I guess is what I'm doing right now. But I just thought he was on for half an hour, and he did nothing.
Jordan, so it's where I disagree.
Go on.
Look, if Lee watches this podcast, and look, if he wants, if I'm misrepresenting what he's saying, if Lee had said, when Robbie does the player ratings at the end, we're going to judge him like we judge anyone who pulls on an Arsenal shirt. Mm-hmm. That's a fair statement, right? Fine. But I disagree with what you said there, that, he shouldn't be a part of the criticism, that he should be a part of the criticism like anyone else, whatever. For me, he shouldn't, because I think we have a responsibility to protect these youngsters, to protect people who come in, who he's playing football earlier than we'd expect any academy player to, for any club at any level. 17 is always that. 18, 19 is when, the really good ones maybe start to get their breakthrough. He's 17 in an era that Arteta left incredibly neglected, and shown by when Ødegaard was missing, didn't want to use him. And this is probably why, because of the conversations that would come out if he didn't have the impact. And I feel we have a responsibility to protect him. Yes, my honest opinion on Munir's performance was, didn't do a lot. Okay, nor did anyone. And to be honest, my biggest blame isn't the poor kid. It's the fact that Arteta left the most, I'll say it's a bullshit 11. We ended on the pitch.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre.
To do what? Timber at left back to do what? Like Jorginho alone in midfield. So my thing is, if we want to talk about Ranieri, we're going to have an 8-hour podcast, because there's actually 26 other things I'd like to talk about before we get to him.
No.
I just think we have a responsibility not to mention it, because he's 17 and he shouldn't be in any position.
He's on the pitch, and he is an Arsenal player. So you can.
Can I step in here? Because this is where, number one, to blame Mikel and the club. Number two, to blame the fans. We're in a fucking title race. We're going up against, or meant to be going up against, Manchester City this season. We know what Manchester City have been about. And we said the 17-year-old is ready. Did you see Yamal at Euros? What the fuck is going on?
If he's ready to play for Arsenal, he's ready. He's ready.
No 17-year-old should be thrust into a side to close the gap on a team like Manchester City. That
he should, if he's good enough.
But none of us have, like, Yamal's done what he's done over an extended period of starts and matches and levels and competition. The most any of us here or any viewers have seen Ranieri at the top level is what? 460 minutes or something like that. Let's say 600 minutes. We cannot make an informed judgment to say there's being ready for the top league, and there's being ready to enter a side that's challenging for a league title, and the expectation is to win it. You don't do that to a 17-year-old. Pep didn't even do that to Foden.
It's the first time he's had a bad impact in a game. Come on, you know what I mean? Like, he's entitled to have a bad impact.
Yeah, that's why I don't think we should even mention it.
I'm not.
That's why I had a problem with Lee.
I'm not digging him out. It feels like I'm not digging him out, but there's two things on him before we move on from him. I'm just saying I disagree with the premise that because he's 17 years old, protecting him means you can't criticize him. If you've got a young child that goes to put his finger on a candle that's got a flame, you tell that child off. Don't do that again, because you're protecting him. You don't just like ignore it and like he did something wrong there. I'm going to protect you by not criticizing you, in this sense, calling the child out. I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. And I think it links to a second point, which Turkish touched upon there. I'm not so sure he's as good as we think he is. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying the kid's not good, but what we've talked about with this kid since I've seen him pre-season is if he's some kind of wonder kid. He's not a wonder kid. He's a very good talent. And I think he'll have a very, very good career. But the fact that we're relying on this guy to be Odegaard's backup, and the talk I hear from him, bring on Ranieri, as if he's Fabregas, as if he's Rooney. This is not a wonder kid at 17 years old, in my opinion. So whilst I think Turkish is making a good point that the club have exposed this guy because he's not ready. The kid's not ready for me. I'm just saying his performance on the weekend, if you play for Arsenal Football Club, I'm going to look at you as I'm going to treat you like I treat everybody else. That's kind of my position on Ranieri. He wasn't the reason we drew on the weekend. I'm just saying
But if you're a manager of a big business, yeah, let's just say you're a manager of a big business. You've got 8 staff members here. They've been at the company 5-6 years and they're performing at a certain level. And you decide you've got one space to recruit in, and you decide to recruit a 15-year-old, 16-year-old that's just come out of secondary school or whatever. Are you telling me then if that 16-year-old doesn't match up results with the other 8, that the spotlight is not more on you as a manager for hiring that person than it is him for being put in that position?
I agree. I just said I think the real criminal here is Mikel Arteta and the club for being in a position whereby they have to rely on Ranieri to be the backup for our biggest source of creativity. So the large blame goes with the club and the Mikel Arteta. I'm just saying, I judge if he doesn't play well. I don't think we can't not say that because he's 17 years old. I'm not digging him out. I'm not saying that he was the worst player or the reason we drew. I don't think he was. I'm just saying he can't be on for half an hour, do literally nothing, and that not be mentioned. That can't be what we're doing here.
I get it, but we also deal with a volatile, very sensitive world of football now, where I know if Ranieri comes and has 2 bad games in a row or slips over trying to do a skill, the internet will meme it. And this is what I'm talking about, top level sports. You've got to protect certain individuals. And that's why, even though you're right, half an hour he was quiet, I ain't going to say anything about that because he shouldn't be in that position. We shouldn't be the club shouldn't be relying on him, let alone us to be saying, yeah, bring him on, but he plays shit. And we're like, oh, he can't, look how dead. No, it's not that. It's not fair on him.
This all comes back to recruitment, doesn't it? And look, Turkish, you've been flying this flag for a long time, and take me a while to get on, onto this. Basically, we are hoping that either a 17-year-old who, as you said, we've barely seen, or a 30-year-old who not even our manager wants in the squad, apparently, who's been at basically every rival we've ever had, or a 60 million pound midfielder converted striker, or a number 9 who, claims to not really, be the best at scoring goals. Basically, we're turning to players, and sorry, I mean, I'm being slightly facetious, but you get my point, guys, that it doesn't really look good with the options we're turning to. So we're then hoping that someone can be our savior and our miracle. And then that adds a desperation to the Ranieri thing and the Lewis Skelly inclusion or whatever it is. And that's not fair on them. The reality is that football, and I deal on Tactical Insight with Graham, and I know people find it really boring, and actually it'll be games like this why people find it boring. In between the boxes, you can do a lot of really good stuff. You can have your formations, you can have your tactics, you can have your systems, you can have a lot of different things, but it's each box where the differences are made 98% of the time in football. And I know, and really I'm not doing any reverse thinking on Arne Slot and Liverpool, because it's incredible that he's got them challenging for the title in his first season. But it's also not because Alisson and Van Dijk are in one box. Okay, actually Alisson's been injured, and Salah and a Diaz are in the other. And that's really decisive players in both boxes. Chuck Kanate in there. And I think we've got the latter, but we don't scare teams. Mm-hmm. We don't have that fear factor, guys. We just don't. Bukayo Saka, I want to give him a hug and say thank you for your efforts, because, oh my word, where would he be without this guy? His his output this season, numbers wise, is actually phenomenal. But we're not talking about it because actually it's almost like the whole attack and the way we review it is so watered down by basically how shit everyone else has been. I thought Havertz started the season well, but since Odegaard got injured and Arteta messed around with his position, he's not rediscovered anything, and that's as much his fault as it is the manager's. Trossard, he comes on at the end. The poor guy's on the touchline. He's running at Ashley Young. You know, and I still expect him to have the beating of him. No, he was running up against a youngster. Didn't a youngster come on at the end for Everton?
Yeah.
Someone else. Right.
Yeah.
You know, he actually, you know what? He got the beat of him once or twice and put a decent ball into the box. But you're just looking at this like, oh, God, this is meant to be our best finisher. He's like the furthest away from goal right now. And I think we just don't have, and I'm sorry for in the past maybe trying to convince us, me and everyone else, and maybe trying to believe that there's more quality in the squad than there is. But I've just come to the conclusion now, and maybe for sure I'm too late on it, that we just don't have the quality in the final third, the match-winning, defining quality, the special quality.
You know what we've got to understand is, you know what we perceive a lot of players to be, the players themselves perceive it as well. And Havertz at Chelsea, I'm going to bring it back to him. Big signing, highest paid player, pivotal. Now you look at how last summer went and the expectation of Rice and Havertz this summer. Havertz was a well-known flop at Chelsea. Year in, year out, it didn't work. Multiple positions, multiple managers, it didn't work. He was not a threat. The nickname was Shy Havertz, and defenders didn't give a shit about playing against him, right? We go to sign him. First, they tell me another instance like that's worked. And any other instance where someone signed someone who's flopped for 3 years straight in this league and it's worked. Tell me, please, someone tell me this. There is none. But then he manages to turn around that reputation somewhat. Us fans get carried away. And then the club look at that and just, give it to us and feed it to us again. To the point that we're here now. And you're right, James. We don't have... Bro, what defender is scared to play against Havertz, Jesus, Martinelli, and even Trossard? They're not. Odegaard, for me, the way he plays, we mentioned it. I think he more suits an 8. More suits an 8 with a number 10 that is a bit more. We need a number 10 that's a bit more direct in his, thinking, more so than Odegaard, whose thinking is a bit more control and directness mixed. So the whole team building. You mentioned you didn't mention our 6 that's playing 8 until the 6 becomes available for him, which has been near enough 18 months now. There's multiple things going on that it's just too much now. And Arteta, you don't have that Pep clout where we can just blindly believe in you playing this guy left back to invert here and this guy to invert there. You haven't got what Pep. So you need to. Bro, he's the second, third highest paid manager in the world. Come on, man. He's paid more than Simeone, Ancelotti, Arne Slot. He's more than double than him. He's on more than double of Maresca. Of course, his new contract was 15 mil. And I used to say this about Wenger. Wenger was like the highest paid manager in the world for years. But us as fan base accepted top 4 and bullshit. How does that make sense? Now we've got the second highest paid manager in the world. And we've got the best owners in the world, according to him. Surely we're about to win quadruple. Surely. Well, we'll see.
I think Lee mentioned earlier on that he spoke to someone who was asking about our title chances. I mean, I get a bit slightly irked when people kind of respond with the whole, it's only December, it's early. Look at the team.
Yeah.
Look at how we're playing. You can be the most positive person in the world, and I said it a few weeks ago, everybody supports their football team in different ways. Some decide to be supportive and optimistic and hopeful and joyous, and that's fine. I wish I could be like that a bit more if I'm being honest. But look at how we're playing. We're not just a little bit off title-winning form. We're quite a way off it. We can't put together a run. We can't put together a winning run. We spent the whole first part of the season when we had Man City, Spurs, Villa saying, right, this is our tough 6, 7, 8 game period. After that, we got a nice little run. We all said that. We got a nice little run. We've drawn with Fulham. We've drawn with Everton. We've lost to Bournemouth. This is meant to be our nice period. This is meant to be our good period. And we still can't put a run together. So when people say, oh, it's only December, I'm like, Liverpool have just got back the best keeper in the world, and for me, the best finisher in the Premier League, who have both been at it for the last 2 months, and they've still kept us at arm's length. They've got those 2 players back in their 11.
More recently, we've kept them at arm's length the way we haven't capitalised on. We should be 2 points off them right now, like Chelsea are.
We should be where Chelsea are now.
We should. And I'm not saying we give up and we just lie down and die, but I just can't put an argument forward to suggest that Arsenal will be lifting the Premier League trophy in May. That's why my focus is on the cups. Yeah, the Champions League that's my focus now, because if you can't beat Everton on a day when we've been waiting for Liverpool to drop points, they drop points and we can't handle our business, we're not serious.
But you know what else? You know what else I keep thinking that, Arteta has had a knack for getting things wrong, hitting a bad run, and pulling a way out of it. And my worry is not that I don't think we're a bad football team. I don't think our season's over. I don't think we're going to struggle to win games. I don't think we're not capable of putting a run. It's not all that. My biggest fear is that the damage is done. I think I said this a few podcasts ago, maybe in the last one, post whatever.
Fulham.
I fear that the damage is done, that I'm a bit scarred from the previous seasons where it's a bit like there were just certain results and certain moments that you just knew, like, this might have cost us. And, it could be, it could be the 2-2 at West Ham. When that second goal went in and we were from 2-0 up, it was 2-2. You just thought, oh no, that just felt like a real, and we never really recovered from there. Last season, when we went winless in 3, okay, one was a draw at Anfield, but then West Ham at home and Fulham away, we lost them both. You just thought, and I remember your fan cam outside the ground. He said, forget the title, we're not going to win it. And what's so funny about that is you were actually proven right. I know it sounds silly because we put an unbelievable run together, but actually you're proven right because we put an unbelievable run together and it wasn't enough to win it. You get what I'm saying? Like, the damage had done. So even if you did the extraordinary, you weren't going to lift it because the damage had been done. And that's what I feel now. I don't think he's a terrible manager. Far from it. I don't think. I asked him my channel, has he hit his ceiling? And I asked the questions. Deep down, no, I don't think he has a manager. Nor do I think this team has. Nor do I think we won't discover great form at some point again this season. But I'm just apathetic to it because I feel like I've seen this script before.
Turkish did the maths. Sorry to cut you. Turkish did the maths of points. We have to pretty much win 85, 90% of our games. And we're just not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. I don't want to go there too soon, but if we don't pick up our run over this Christmas period, we will be in a battle for top 4. Because although City are kind of dropping the ball a little bit as well, I don't think Chelsea win the title this year, but they're not far off banking a top 4 spot, if not already. They got momentum. So that's 2 slots gone already. Do you know what I mean? It only takes Villa or a Spurs to put a run together to then, you're looking over your shoulder. If we don't sort this out soon, we're going to really tail off really badly and it will get toxic.
This kind of, as you two are talking, it falls into a couple comments I've seen recently. It wasn't on Fourever, but it was across socials and whatnot, saying Turkish moans whatever the result. And I just thought about
true though. This is a bit true.
Listen, there's some truth to it for sure. But here's me explaining it. Whatever the result, tell me the result in May that's changed since I've been on YouTube. Because every May it's either been failure, optimism, failure. The result has not changed in May. I've been on the roller coaster too many times now under this ownership and watching Arsenal since moving into the Emirates to know how it ends more often than not. In fact, every single time, because we still ain't won it, right? So now the roller coaster isn't as fun for me because I know what's coming. I can't enjoy the highs and the lows. Hey, waka waka. I can't do that because I know when May comes,
Why do we have to reference waka waka?
Yeah,
there's
a lot of
some roller coaster wave with that. Like, it was just the fan base was like, hey, 60 million. Why did we do that? Because it literally is down the drain.
I'll tell you something, right? I'll tell you something. We're on a really, really bad run after Tet, but it's been overshadowed by what Man City are doing. I think Man City, if Man City weren't as poor as what they have, I think it's one winning 10 or 11 now that they've had.
11.
If you have a look at our last 10, 11 games, it's not championship winning form. It's not even top 4 form. If you be really honest, it's mid-table bloody form.
Yeah, there was 4 minutes from being on the same points as us. If United don't score them late,
yeah. So and that's with a 10. Let's not kid ourselves. Forget about the cups and things like that. our last 10 games have been really poor. And all of a sudden now we've got to go to Crystal Palace next week, who have started to hit a bit of form. They're not the Crystal Palace that they were 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. Difficult game. And this is a team that, beginning of the season, I thought we was going to go anywhere and get a result. I was confident we could go and get results at Manchester City, Tottenham, and wherever we was going to go, Aston Villa. I'm now petrified of going to Crystal Palace because I don't know you just don't know what's going to happen. I don't, you know what I mean? It's not enjoyable watching Arsenal at this moment in time, the way they're playing. It's not. It's you hoping that you score first and then go from there. But if you concede, you know what's coming. They ain't winning the league this year. The difference this season to last season, I don't think that Liverpool and Chelsea are in the league of what Manchester City were last season. Like, you know what I mean? They've got faults, they've got failures, but that doesn't mean to say that we're going to catch those points up. I think we might get 3 or 4 points and then we lose another 3. I don't know. You know what I mean? You had the opportunity. Did anybody think that they were going to lose to Fulham or draw to Fulham? No. But when they have done, you've got to do what Chelsea have done, boys, and capitalised on it. And we haven't. And I just don't see. Someone said to me, like, I think it might have been even Julian, said, nothing's changed.
Oh, come on.
And I said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, like, first of all, it's one less game. And
yeah.
So that's changed. So it's changed. You know what I mean? Like, you can't keep saying, "Oh, nothing's going to change," and then all of a sudden, like, if there's 5 games to go and you've run out of points. You've got to start going and be realistic about what you're seeing at this moment in time. And that's why I'm upset and frustrated. I honestly thought we'd win yesterday, and I look at it now and I just think they're not there. They're not. They're nowhere near it.
We've talked about the kind of bigger picture a lot here, but just on the game very quickly as well, like that second half, it was terrifying, the lack of ideas and the lack of quality. You said we look cluelessly, like clueless is the word. We really didn't know what the hell to do. We didn't have an idea of how to play through them. We didn't have a player that was willing to, and, we get on to Jesus, but it was only end of last season, early this calendar year, that he drove through, a couple Bayern Munich players in the box and just squared his Trossard. That's a something out of nothing. That's central. That's in the middle, that's where you hurt teams. We just didn't have that. I was watching, City have been poor, but I caught some of their highlights. De Bruyne has still been able to pick out a little through ball to a Haaland or a little through ball to Foden. It might be one a game. I tell you what, it's one more than we've managed to throw up in the last couple of games where we've needed a goal. Everything is cross to the back post. Hope Saka, wriggles through a couple of defenders and finds a way around. It is, what happened to the overlaps? What happened to, runners from deep? I mean, do you remember in that 22-23 season, we often talk about Zinchenko converting. Xhaka would cut through the middle. There'd just be bam, 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 a couple of passes. Xhaka was in. You're like, this is the slowest player on the pitch. And like, he was the one in behind. Like, there was just moments that we just had an ability to just pass and move and, pull teams apart. And we weren't as exciting last year, but we had bits of that last season. That was how we got a Konate and Van Dijk in that 3-1 win. We pulled them apart. And I look at this Arsenal team and I just cannot believe how devoid of ideas we are when it comes to this. And I'm sorry, 5th full season, 600-700 million pounds spent. I understand a lot of it hasn't gone on the forwards, but that's Arteta's choice, quite frankly.
But that for me was
more firepower.
Yeah. Go on, Lee.
Oh no, I don't know if you notice it, Dave. You notice it on TV or you don't know. I noticed yesterday. I'm not sticking up for Kai Havertz. Don't get me wrong. He made 5 or 6 runs where he could have been slipped in by Odegaard and all that, and they look at it. And they go, no, I'll come back and play across and go out wide. They don't look. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you get in that striker of, you know what I mean, they want play to his strength. I see it 3 or 4 times. I don't know if they don't trust him that he's not going to get there or whatever. I don't know. There might be that. I don't know. But I think 3 or 4 times, play it in. Go on. And he looks at it and he goes, no, I'll play it safe and we go back out wide and we come back from other side. And I do think that there's just a lack of trust to the forwards. I don't know.
I think we're just on James.
They know what it is. Like I know what it is.
I mean, my last point would just be that I think to what James was saying just a minute ago, that for me was the most disappointing thing from Saturday's game. The lack of sticking to how we as Arsenal under Arteta play. We were slinging in crosses from like the 60th minute. When did we become a crossing team? Now people can mock us.
Arteta's lost it with that stuff.
I think he might. This is why I say that. I think
and so's the fan base.
Yeah, I just thought, why are we crossing?
You fucking paint him. Yeah. Whatever this Nicholas Jova painting is.
No, but he's the set piece. I don't mind the set pieces. But it was like from an hour in, we were just crossing. And we haven't got Rice is not on the pitch. From open play, Gabriel and Saliba are in the box. Who are you crossing to? That for me was disappointing because we're not a crossing team. We can cross, but we're not. The amount of crosses that we put in was like, what are we doing? We lost all semblance of what's worked for us, and that for me was quite worrying.
Yeah, I mean, look, the cross to the back post is how we equalised against Chelsea with Trossard last season. It's how we won the game at Brentford with Havertz to the back post. It's a weapon you can use. The problem
it's a weapon, but
problem is when it's the only weapon.
Yeah,
like
anything, you used to supplement the attack. Now it's the attack.
And if there's one team that only defensively are quite good, it's Everton.
Yeah, it's a Sean Dyche side. Yeah, funny enough.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and here we are. What happened to a 1-2? What happened to a pass into Jesus? He holds it up, he gives it back because you've made the run off. What? It's kind of it kind of is. Yeah, it kind of is that, isn't it?
I think Lee said it. They don't trust the forwards. It's trust.
And overcoaching. But yeah. Anyway, now we move into another game that I think is going to have a similar feeling to last week's game against Monaco. Maybe a bit more to it because it actually gets you straight into the semi. You know what? It's even picking up importance for me.
Can I say something Sharoy said? Sharoy said something on the Gooniverse podcast, which was so true. And sorry, Sharoy, if I'm saying this wrong, apologies. But he said something like, if we finish second, don't win the league, but we've won a trophy or two, at least the process might feel like, there's been silverware. I'm not saying the Carabao Cup's enough, but let's say an FA Cup. Let's say a Carabao and an FA Cup. Let's say an FA Cup and a Champions League final. I don't know. I'm just making up something. But something like that, with as poor league campaigns we're having, but there's a flaw to how bad that can get. At least it can feel like this team might have come on in a different way in some way. If we don't win anything this season, put up this league campaign we're having, you just feel like has it failed? That has it kind of all. So, Sharoy, let me know in the comments if I've worded it wrong, but I kind of get what he's saying. Like, the league doesn't define the whole season. It's the biggest part, but there's other ways that this team can still take strides forward. And fuck me, winning a trophy would be a bloody good start. Like, doing something in Europe would be a bloody good start. And so, for me, all eyes on this Carabao Cup time, man.
I think
I will be fucking furious.
I think it's massive now. I think
huge.
It's huge now. Like, they've got to, after the last couple of results, I think he's got to be taking this game serious. And I think if they were to lose against Crystal Palace, I think there'd be more of a meltdown from fans because it's a trophy gone. I really do. Listen, if he wins it, there's going to be no praise. Funny enough, this is a pressure thing for us.
There's going to be no praise, you think? Trust me, you're wrong there, Lee. Trust me on that. If we win,
he beats Crystal Palace, everybody would be saying, "Oh, it's a great."
No, you mean the Carabao?
No, Carabao Cup. Carabao Cup. Yeah.
No, yeah. No. I'm saying what I'm saying in this game. I think if we was to lose this game, there's the fallout from this game will be massive compared to if we just win this game. It'd be just right, move on to the next one. That's what I'm saying. Semi-final. I don't know who against. Probably be Tottenham. But I tell you what, Man United are picking up a little bit now, so Tottenham are not going to have it easy next week. So listen, you got a home tie given to you. When you think about it, there's Tottenham in there, Man United in there. Liverpool in there. We got a home to Crystal Palace. The draw gods were on our side, and if you can't get through that round and get into the semi-final,
guys, do you reckon? Do you wonder if it's worth playing our strongest team in this game?
Yep.
Because I wonder if a big part of why our league form hasn't been great is because we can't seem to have a run of the same 11 in the league. And I wonder if we now need to, there's a dual benefit to playing our strongest team in this cup. One, you play your strongest team, you probably beat Palace. But two, that 11 gets to kind of play together 2, 3, 4 games in a row. I just wonder if it's worth kind of using this now as an opportunity to play your back five that you want to start against Palace on the weekend. But there's a third benefit. Play your strongest midfield, play your strongest attack, blow Palace away, get some form, get some goals, but also just kind of have some continuity for the league.
I don't think Gabriel will play.
And I know there's a Christmas period coming up, so there's a lot of games over the
I
Christmas
think
period.
I
But
think you could take Gabriel out for Kivior because Kivior did well in those 3 games, apart from the Fulham goal.
Rice won't play.
Rice won't, so Partey starts. So you go Marino, Partey, Odegaard for me. You go Timber, Saliba, Kivior, Lewis Skelly, something like that. If Calafiori's fit, great. You go Trossard. I'd start Jesus over Havertz because, quite frankly, I mean, pick him out of the hat. I know Havertz. Listen, people get upset by that comment. I know Havertz had a much better 2024 than Jesus, but he's not in better form than Jesus right now. Quite frankly, neither are impressing me.
I think he is.
You think Havertz in better form than Jesus right now?
Yeah.
I mean, what we're saying.
I mean, it's
4 out of 10 and a 2 out of 10.
It's shades of
sure,
food, right? But
oh.
Jesus doesn't go anywhere near my.
He's got to play Sterling in this game, guys. Sure, he got to play Sterling.
No, because he's not played him at all. I almost don't want to see him play now. I'm like, you haven't brought him on once. Why do I want him starting a game that we have to progress through? I think you start Trossard. Actually, sorry, Trossard left, Jesus right to rest Saka, and Havertz up front.
I think
Actually, can we afford to rest Saka?
I think you got to try Sterling. I think Ranieri starts, Jorginho starts, Lewis Skelly starts. Really? I think you do mix it up a little, man. If I'm honest with you,
I'd go strongest.
I think.
Do you think Crystal Palace will mix it up? I think they will.
No chance of trophy.
It's a bit of a free hit for them, isn't it? So...
Nketiah probably starts, isn't it?
He ain't scored all year. He will start Wednesday.
Oh, he's getting a hat trick, isn't he?
It's his first game. He's going to score.
He missed a sitter.
Today.
Fucking yeah. Sitters sorry,
I just wanted to trigger Turkish. Sorry.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, that was worse than any other ones we talked about the other night.
It was bad.
But I don't know why. I'm saying Sterling start. Maybe he gets a couple goals, and then he warrants a start on the weekend because I'm tired of Martinelli and I'm tired of Trossard. Not because I want to see Sterling. I'm just tired of the other two. I'm tired of people asking me which one. I'm tired of seeing them start and come off for the other one. I'm just tired of it. Sterling. Let me just see. Can you do something? Sorry, do you want to go?
Sorry, bro. Is this for a place in the semis? Is this the quarters?
Semis, yeah.
Right. Which game's more important, this weekend or this week?
This weekend.
Well, if we all think the title's gone, is a trophy chance to win a trophy, albeit the League Cup? I'm just saying we want both, obviously, but
Jordan, genuinely, I'll be okay. I don't have to answer that, so I'll put it this way: I'll be as pissed to lose the Wednesday game as I would the Saturday.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you.
As I tend to agree. I'm just wondering if
I don't know if what's but yeah.
Look how we're talking about Carabao.
I know.
Look what's happened. Like, I feel like
I've always rated it.
End the stream.
I've always wanted to win it. Is all I'm saying. I will have an open top bus parade if we win it in February.
I'm smelling a cherry pie in the oven. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm going down. I want that cherry pie. I've been waiting for that cherry pie. Yeah, I want a tea with it. I'm going to devour it. I go downstairs. The cherry pie is some candle burning in the corner and it's rich tea biscuits on the fucking plate. And it's hot water. There's no tea bags. That's how I feel. And Arsenal pushed me to a place where I might devour that. hot water and
If
rich
you're
tea
really
biscuits,
hungry,
because-
you're gonna have it.
brother. I need to survive. I need to survive. I'm ashamed of myself. I want rich tea biscuits in February. Just give me rich tea biscuits.
Whereas I really
Oh,
like
man.
rich tea biscuits.
I
I'm
love
not a big
rich
fan
tea.
of cherry pie.
So,
So
same.
do you know what I mean? So
You man don't like cherry pie and you like rich tea
boss.
biscuits.
Yeah, man. I like rich tea.
a
I
rich
thought
tea
I
Rich
did
tea is
well
a
with
bit
boring
boring, isn't it?
ones,
Rich
nothing
tea.
on them.
Just
like
like me.
boringly.
Just like
Huh?
me.
No, let's not even get into this. I can't believe what I've just heard.
I've just had custard creams today. I think they're much better.
Custard creams are fantastic.
No, they're better. They're better.
That's like
They're
an
not
Nearly,
Jaffa- they're not
the
Jaffa
only
cake,
thing is,
but
I've nearly had a full pack today, like just being greedy. But there you go.
You sobering up. Is that what it is, Lee?
Yes.
The custard creams are there to help. All right, let me bring out the prediction table. No change.
Dear.
Everyone predicted wins against Everton, and obviously no one got points. James on top on goal difference. We're going to call it correct score difference. He's got 5 correct scores. Jordan's got 3. They're both on 23 points. Lee's in third on 19. I'm in fourth on 18, and we've got Palace at the Emirates in the Carabao Cup quarterfinal. So, James.
Oh, is Jordan all right?
Jordan, you done stretching or you want to do some yoga?
Sorry.
after that?
I've got to
Pilates. You want to do?
It's like 2 in the morning. This is well past my
I'm
bedtime.
just wondering. Yeah, I don't know. Have we crossed over
Pilates
into the
in the
other
morning.
schedule of yours? I don't know. You're trying to balance out.
How have you got a 17th different background? Like,
I'm a G. I'm a bad
it's
man.
always a different spot.
If he
Always
tells
a
me,
different
if he
spot.
tells us he's moving again, I'm gonna smash that. He's been moving for like 9 weeks, bro.
What's
Like,
wrong with the setup? The signal's good, the audio's good, the picture's good, the backdrop's the backdrop.
You're on the floor, bro.
Yeah, because I can't put it. I ain't got a table high enough to.
I've never seen a YouTuber record on the floor.
Listen, it's comfortable. It's good for your back.
Is it right? Yeah, the way I know the way you're gonna get up. Don't say it's good for your back.
Well, you saw him
My back's-
stretching. He
back's
just did all
effed
of
up.
this.
I know.
Yeah.
My back. Can we hurry up, guys? Because my back's killing me.
James, go on. Palace, Emirates, Carabao Cup.
Oh, we better bloody win. 3-1. I don't know why. Actually,
3-1, Jordan.
I'm going with it.
2-0.
2-0, 3-1, 2-0. Lee?
3-0.
You lot think Eddie isn't scoring.
All of them are gone. 3-1, 3-0, 2-0. 2-0. I'm going to go
We're
with them.
such suckers, aren't we? The last few weeks complaining about these results. Predictions? 3-0 win.
Yeah. I went 4-0 Everton, didn't I?
A little bit less pressure on this game. For
Yeah, the week, if it was Palace away in the Premier League, I wouldn't be predicting a win right now.
me. No.
No, me neither.
Win. That's the predictions, people. Obviously, let us know your comment section. Download the AFTV Plus app as well. The Forever Predictor is in there. But listen, the app has multiple features as well. So it's a good app to have. It's free. So why not, people? Go show the app some love too. Show the video some love. Are we on 1,000 likes yet? Check. We're an hour, 10 minutes in there. So hopefully we are. And if you haven't hit that like button, make sure you do that along with subscribing and just showing the video some love in general. Let's move on to comments of the day if we're all prepared.
Yep.
Yeah.
My favorite is genuinely the top comment, but have one of you got it? The one from Matt says hello.
No, I try not to go for the top one.
No, I normally don't either. but-
Convenient, that isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's as I've been looking the last couple of minutes, it's the only one I like.
Strike 2. You said
Come
that
on,
last
James.
time.
You did.
One more time.
did.
You're top.
You did.
I'm taking points off, bro. I'm gonna
You
be.
did.
You're my guy. And if we're up against these two guys on the right or left, wherever I'm with you, bro.
We
Ride
can't
or
have a
die.
bit of banter.
But you're
Also-
bringing the show into disrepute with these. Like,
Also, I'm the only one who's actually promoting the show. Look at this. I'm such a fan.
Where'd you get that from?
It was given to me.
Oh, man, I want one.
on
Well, we all
Spotify.
want one, but we ain't got one.
Can he or she make 3 more?
There you go.
I'm
How
actually
cool is
vexed. Robbie gave me one. I left it at the chicken shop.
that? Oh, no.
What?
Yeah, man. I need to go back there. They saved it for me, but I don't know when I'm going back.
Oh, I might go there and get it.
Yeah, I might pick it up.
Go on, yeah. The one in the Upper Street. Fastest finger first. I've got a few here. Adetola said Turkish is unbelievably calm today. Makes a change. Bazza says that's one of the worst misses I've seen in football. Turkish, you're a classic. I still believe it. It's one of
That
the
was a shocker. That was
it
a
goes
shocker.
behind
Turkish.
Eddie's one.
That was a shocker.
If you haven't seen
One
it,
of the
but
worst
yeah.
misses I've seen in football ever.
And this one from Aditya says, I'm from India and coming to the Emirates is a distant dream because it costs a fortune to be there. And that's why I love and appreciate this pod so much. The first part where you talk about how the atmosphere was and all of that, just love it. Heaps of gratitude for you lot, my favorite pod. Big up Aditya in India. Come on.
Yeah, that comment reminded me, actually, I took my uncle to the Emirates for the Liverpool game. And it's the first time he doesn't live in London. He's a big Arsenal fan. It was the first time he's been to the Emirates. And just seeing how wide-eyed he was and how excited, how many pictures, it made me fall in love with art. Because we go all the time, right? So for us, it's like, you go to the Emirates, you meet your mates, you go into your seat, you cheer, you boo, whatever, you go home, right? But for people that it's their first time, you forget like how big a deal, because it's a massive stadium that's like really impressive. You're seeing your team. I think we could have lost that game and he still would have gone home like just bouncing. Do you know what I mean? So it's easy to forget like how big an experience going to the Emirates for the first time can be for many people.
And also, can I just add that? And also that everyone does experience football differently, and that's fine too. For some people, it's everything. For some people, it's an extra thing in their life. For some people, you know, you're right. It's I got to the Emirates, I saw my team win. All right, you know, on we go. You know, everyone, and that is one thing I think, especially in this age of social media, is kind of lack of tolerance for, you know, you can have different opinions. That's fine, but you know, almost this kind of policing of how people should enjoy the game. Some people enjoy it differently. I enjoy it more passionately than others. I also know there's other people who it impacts more than me. Yesterday, I went out, had a good night. I'm not gonna lie, I did. I went and saw my friends. I'm never gonna let it impact my social life like that. It's just how I enjoy it. But yeah,
you see different, like in the pub yesterday, you see people laughing and joking. You see people sitting there with the umps, people sitting there moaning. And I had a couple of people come to me. I didn't want to be rude and all that. Like they're saying, "I was feel." I just said, "I'm tapped out of the game. I just want to enjoy it. I didn't want to talk football yesterday. Like I'd had enough of it." And it is funny. And listen, if people want to laugh and joke after a game, you know what I mean, and have a good time down the pub, that's their prerogative. If you want to sit there and have the ump with your pint, your prerogative as well.
The only comment I picked out, though, was from somebody who referenced me mentioning the PTSD from the Monaco game back in the day. And they actually reminded me that game, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain had 3 foul throws. And I totally forgot. And I remember the time, because them times, I was like Lee. Them times Arsenal losing, I was effing and jeffing. I was potty. It affected me. And I've forgotten. It was definitely 2. Maybe 3 foul throws. And one of them was like, we needed a goal and he messed up and the whole stadium just kind of piled on. And it just reminded me of how horrible
Who was the comment from?
game was. Kaf K. Kamaraj. Kamaraj, 1606. Why did Jordan have to rekindle my Monaco PTSD? I remember every single goal in that game. First leg, Berbatov, Kondogbia, Chamberlain, Carrasco. Giroud missed a gazillion chances. Chamberlain's horrible throw-in, which led to 3-1. God, it was a horrible night.
I remember that throw. Yeah, we was.
Do you remember?
2-1,
he put them in. I think he put them in.
I remember it. Yeah, thanks for that, Jordan.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
I'm having a bad enough time as it now. I'm remembering games like that are worse.
Well, there you go, Lee. It could be worse. Think of it like that. At least we got a point on the weekend. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Fantastic. Are you being sarcastically, or you must be?
It was a horrible night. It was a bad night.
No, I remember. I've just come back. Me, look, listen. I
thought you were saying his story about the throw-ins was boring.
No. I remember that throw now. Them Costas. I'll tell you, like, it's funny. You got to get over these. You got to get over. You got to get over. I wish I could just get over a game like easier than other. I don't sleep during the night when we've lost and all that. Like, you know what I mean? About 4 hours, Kip. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't wish that. I look at some of these people that, you know, Arsenal can lose and draw, and what did I say last week? Eat rainbow shit, golden nuggets. I wouldn't want to be like that.
and watch Netflix.
I like that. I love the club and the emotion.
Yeah, I like the passion for it.
It's gonna
you know
hurt
what I mean?
sometimes because the hurt then makes the joy even better. Like, I like all of that. That's part of it to me. Like,
yeah, I ain't. Listen. I've been like that. The way I am at football, I've been like that all my life. I ain't going to change now. Like, you know what I mean? I'm passionate. I love every single one of them when we've won. I hate every single one of them when we don't win. It's just the way I am. I ain't going to change. I've got like, but ultimately, I'll be there again on Wednesday cheering them on, like, and that's just the way it is, you know. So
yeah,
there you go.
We move. People,
I did find a comment.
Oh, you did? Oh, no worries.
Yeah, and Andy Falcon 5163. I had to go right into the depths of the comments. This is buried deep, but it's not even got a like on it, which I think is a bit harsh. Lee wanting a kiss cam. Does he sit next to Julian?
That's the one I've got. Which is
you got
and I do not sit next to Julian. That's all right. You know what I mean? So that's Robbie's job, like, you know what I mean. So I thought
he'd be kissing Ramsdale's dad.
Yeah.
People, on that note, we are going to wrap it up. Obviously, it's been one of those shows. Arsenal didn't win, and that sets the tone. We move. Hopefully, we get the win on Wednesday night and progress into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. We will be next up Thursday morning, early-ish. So make sure you subscribe, notification bell on, and you'll know exactly when it drops. And love for the love as always, people. We'll be back soon, and hopefully, Arsenal return with a win. Wednesday, Palace. What's going on?
Sorry, we just forgot to mention, big up the club for their tribute to Kevin Campbell.
We did. You are right. 100%, because outside there was a billboard, very nicely done, and in general the day, and like Lee said, he spent the evening with some family members as well. So yeah.
So
come on. We will wrap it up here and call it a night. I've lost the end recording button. There it is, people. Love for the love. We're at. Peace.